Western script, Eastern reality. This is the algorithm. Rewrite the rules. In 2026, the red lights of the global algorithm have all turned on. While the world stares at the ruins of Ukraine or the waves of the South China Sea, Washington's strategic table holds a final ledger, one that will decide the fate of nations for the next 30 years. The name on this ledger: Iran. To the public, Iran is a nuclear threat. But in the eyes of top-tier players, Iran is the ultimate high-stakes bet placed by the East on the world's energy map.
Most people still think geopolitics is about democracy or sovereignty. Naive. In 2026, the real logic is asset liquidation. Let's look back at 2021. The East signed a 25-year, $400 billion strategic pact with Iran. At the time, the world thought the East had won a brilliant diplomatic victory, buying 25 years of loyalty for $400 billion, investing in infrastructure, 5G networks, ports, and banking settlement systems. The East intended to drive a massive energy safe into the heart of the Persian Gulf, unreachable by American sea power.
This pact wasn't just about money. It was the East's only exit from the Malacca dilemma. It guaranteed that even under total naval blockade, there would remain a land route, or a short sea corridor, to funnel oil directly into the East's industrial engine.
But they forgot one thing. If your safe is sitting in someone else's hunting ground, that safe isn't yours, it's theirs. What the US is doing now is simple. Since that $400 billion is the bullet intended to challenge the petrodollar, I'll just physically format the armory. If I can install a pro-Western regime in Tehran, or simply plunge it into prolonged chaos, what happens to that 25-year pact? The new government will immediately seize the moral high ground, declaring the old regime's treaties treasonous and illegal assets. $400 billion in infrastructure, ports, and equity, frozen, confiscated, and dismantled in a single night. This isn't diplomacy. This is $100 billion forced demolition of Eastern assets. Oil is just the baseline. If you think the fight for Iran is just about crude oil, your mind is stuck in the 20th century. Look here, Hamedan. In 2023, they discovered the world's second largest lithium deposit, 8.5 million tons. In 2026, whoever controls lithium controls the EV supply chain, energy storage systems, and the right to serve in the next energy revolution. Lithium is white oil.
For a long time, the East relied on its dominant processing chain to monopolize the global battery market. Iran's lithium was meant to be the East's trump card to hedge against resource supply risks in South America and Australia.
The East planned to build processing plants near Tehran, turning lithium ore directly into batteries for shipment back home. Do you think the US will let that happen? Absolutely not. By tearing off the mask and using thug tactics, the US will rip those mining rights out of the hands of Eastern state enterprises. New government, new contract. Suddenly, those 8.5 million tons of lithium become raw materials for gigafactories in Detroit and Texas. Beyond lithium, there's copper, there's iron. The core of friendshoring is to extract these strategic raw materials from Eastern control zones and bring them back into the Western supply chain. This war is actually a global mineral reshuffle, dressed in the robes of religion and sovereignty.
A straight line on a map is the strategic exit the East has dreamed of for decades. Chabahar Port, situated on the Gulf of Oman, was the East's great hope. It was meant to be the safety gate, a direct entry into the Indian Ocean that bypassed the Malacca Strait entirely. But in 2026, Washington's strategists have made a declaration. This gate is now under American guard.
The East had a beautiful vision. Link the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC, with Iran to create a land-based energy network spanning Central and Western Asia. They poured billions into Chabahar, intending to turn it into the Belt and Road anchor at the mouth of the Persian Gulf. But they forgot a hard truth of geopolitics. Infrastructure is fixed, but sovereignty can be formatted. When Tehran falls into turmoil, or a new government takes power, what happens to Chabahar? It stops being a refueling station for the East. Washington will move in, citing freedom of navigation and counter-terrorism, either deploying the Navy or installing private military contractors. At that moment, Chabahar transforms into a global panoptic sensor for the US to monitor the entire Persian Gulf and Indian Ocean. The 1,000-mile energy artery the East spent 10 years building will be physically severed at the Iranian border. The land route you built to escape the Malacca blockade will eventually reveal itself as a much larger, more inescapable Iranian trap.
This isn't just about losing a port. This is the collective collapse of the entire Belt and Road Middle Eastern blueprint. When the anchor vanishes, all that remains are bad debts and the steel ruins of non-functional dreams.
Once the brain in Tehran is formatted, the entire axis of resistance undergoes a chain reaction collapse. Without Iranian bankrolls and drone technology, Hezbollah retreats into the shadows. The Assad regime in Syria becomes a walking corpse, and the Houthis in Yemen find their lifelines cut overnight. The US isn't looking for a local skirmish, it's looking for a total liquidation. When the Iranian threat vanishes, the longtime rivals, Saudi Arabia and Israel, will officially tie the knot. In that vacuum, a Middle East NATO, led by the US and anchored by Israel and the Saudis, will rapidly take shape. This military and energy alliance will be built to exclude the East entirely. The fruits of 20 years of Eastern grand reconciliation diplomacy will be erased within 3 months. The Middle East will revert to a closed casino, settled in dollars, guarded by the US military, and priced by the West. The East, which thought it could use petro-yuan to shake the dollar, will find they don't even have a ticket to the table anymore.
This is the brutal law of the jungle in geopolitics. While you try to change the world with pixels, documents, Washington uses atoms, missiles, and formatting to remind you who the ultimate landlord of this earth truly is. In the brutal dimension of 2026, war is no longer about occupying territory. It is about seizing the right to define the future. As the old order in Tehran is pulverized, the true physical audit begins. This isn't a war of religion. It is a pillaging of the periodic table. Washington isn't just fighting for land. It's fighting for the right to breathe for the next 50 years.
I told you before, Iran holds 8.5 million tons of lithium, the world's second largest reserve of white oil. The East planned to use this lithium to maintain its hegemony over the EV and energy storage sectors. But now, the rules of the game have been violently rewritten. As Tehran is pulled into the Western strategic orbit, the development rights for these mines will be re-auctioned. Who will win the bid? Tesla, Albemarle, or a shell company controlled by the US military? The US doesn't just want to mine the ore, it wants physical pricing power. By controlling Iran's lithium, copper, and iron, the US has successfully seized the ventilator of the next energy revolution. Eastern battery factories will find that the raw materials they depend on for survival must now be bought back with US dollars on exchanges in New York or London. This is dimensional strike. I don't defeat your product. I take the materials you need to build it.
As physical resources return to dollar settlement, every attempt to challenge the petrodollar becomes a joke of history. The regime change in Iran acts as a high-potency adrenaline shot for a staggering dollar system.
The petrodollar was on life support, but now it has a twin brother, the Lithium-Dollar. As long as global energy settlement cannot bypass the Persian Gulf, and as long as Iranian oil is priced in dollars once more, the hegemony can reign for another 30 years. For Washington, dismantling $400 billion of Eastern investment was just the warm-up act. The main course is the total control of Middle Eastern physical assets, kicking anyone who tries to de-dollarize out of the dealer's game. The smoke over Tehran in 2026 isn't the end. It's the opening bell of the great formatting. If you are still watching, it means you realize that the truth of this world isn't the warmth you see in the news. It's a cold-blooded physical liquidation. In this great formatting, the information gap is your final suit of armor. Want to continue seeing through the lens of the 2026 geopolitical audit? Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this with friends who are still asleep. Don't wait for the formatting to reach your doorstep while you remain in the dark. I'll see you at the next audit.